What's going on, everybody? We are back. Bald Banter is back.
Out of the slumber.
Oh, dude, it's been a wild month and a half, right? But we also only have one half of the Bald Banter boys here, all right? Joining us from Spittin' Seats, from Cold Weather Bats, we got Michael Rubenstein. How are we?
We're doing well. This is fun. It's fun to be on this side of it where I don't have to host it and figure out what the heck I'm going to say off the bat. So this is going to be fun.
Well, the best part is I don't even know what I'm going to say. Never, no script, nothing. We just wing it, right? And I'm sure you can tell with all the videos. So one thing that, that we want to kind of talk about, obviously we talk about recruiting and transfer portal and college coaches. We got, high school guys and college guys come on. But for those who don't know, the College World Series is upon us.
It's a big week.
Less than 24 hours from first pitch, right? So what better way to kind of introduce the College World Series than having one of the guys from the 11.7 podcast on Noah Bieniek? Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Noah Bieniek.
He's the man, right? So we're excited to kind of talk to him, kind of get his side of the ins and outs behind, the College World Series, behind, Omaha in general, and kind of talk some college baseball, which we're super excited for. And we couldn't be more excited about this.
Before we get into this, which I am so excited for this conversation.
I feel like we have said excited about 40 times because that's how
it's going to be fun. If people can't tell, we are thrilled. So before we get into this conversation, first off, want to say thank you and shout out to the official clothing sponsor of Cold Weather Bats. That is G Brand. We have their apparel on here. Thank you for the hats that we have. If you are a baseball organization, softball organization, football organization, if you're a business, if you need apparel in any way whatsoever, you need to reach out to Brian Metallic and his team over at G Brand. They'll take care of you. They do literally everything under the sun. They're always adding more and more to what they can add to their menu. So be sure to reach on out and they will take good care of you. And with that said, as we go into this, Griff, this is your favorite part. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Hey, if your aunt has an interest in college baseball, or maybe you want to get your little cousin involved, right? We want to start the food chain again, right? Start the family watching some college baseball. Oh my God, a coughing attack. But that's how excited I am. It takes my breath away how excited I am about the future projects we have going on. But please like, comment, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen.
We are on every single social media out there. You can see it there at Cold Weather Bats, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X. I don't know what it's called anymore. We're on every single one of them. Just search it at Cold Weather Bats. If you're looking for any more of our podcasts and our content, head on over to coldweatherbats.com. We do quite a bit of written content as well. That's over on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/coldweatherbats. Griff, I don't know if we want to say anything else or we just want to go right on into this conversation. I mean, he is coming to us from Charles Schwab Field. For those that don't know, it's the home of the College World Series. So this is, I can say it again. I'm excited.
This is the greatest time of the year. I'm thrilled. Couldn't be more ecstatic to be a part of this conversation. Right. And I think people are going to learn a lot about college baseball. People are going to learn a lot about, the ins and outs and the transfer portal. It's going to be a great conversation and a great, a little bit of a chalk talk almost about what actually goes on at the College World Series.
Yeah. And if you're a college baseball casual, that's more than okay. If you've been a diehard following it all year, that is not a problem either. You will get something out of this conversation 100%. So with that said, let's go right on into our conversation.
Dude,
what's going on, guys? I'm excited to join the show and talk some ball.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you, man. We're a little upset that you didn't really buy into the whole Bald Banter thing, man. Yeah, you got the whole.
I've let this thing grow out into a little bit of a monstrosity. Coming from the great state of Michigan, where it's like, I don't know, 65 right now, stepping outside into the Omaha weather, the heat of the 90s, like just slaps you right in the face. Yeah, the humidity too.
Trust me, your boy would go through about 6 T-shirts if I was down there right now.
Oh, I'm a rookie here. This is my first year, but I attacked it like a pro. I had a undershirt under, so we're good.
I love that so much. A little compression, right?
Yes.
Love that. So, Noah, for people who don't know 11.7 and people don't know your backstory, man, why don't you kind of give us a little bit of insight how you guys got started, how you got started into all this? I'm going to let you have the floor, man.
So my backstory is not nearly as glorious as you may find from other people that do cover college baseball or come from Michigan high school ranks. If you look at my high school stats, they are not good. But I did commit to play college ball. I was not a good cold weather player. My cold weather bat just didn't work, guys. I enjoyed the warm weather. And then that's why I went to play college baseball in the city of Pittsburgh, where it's just as cold, right? So, yeah, I high school was not really my strength. Summer, I was a whole lot more comfortable in my own skin, where I wasn't competing for a spot every single day. I was batting in the middle of the order every day and whatnot. So I enjoyed the summer weekends. That's one thing for sure. In college, I played in NAI. I went to a school called Point Park. I was a winter cut 3 years in a row during COVID. So 2020, obviously there was no season. 2021, there were 70 kids on the campus for baseball. So I got cut in the winter there. I was literally the last cut, so taxi squatted. But 22, again, a winter cut, but I was a little bit out of shape that year, I will admit. But I love the game of baseball. 2019 was my senior year of high school. Michigan makes the run to the College World Series, and not only to the College World Series, but they're in the national championship game with a chance to win the title under Eric Bakich. I became a huge fan of Bakich, watching a lot of the press conferences and everything. That guy could sell me a used car, I think. So I fell in love with that side of it. I was like, hey, this is a pretty undercovered sport. That was where I went to school at Point Park for journalism. So I thought this was a really neat avenue where it was kind of undercovered, and tried to pave my own way in this. And there's not a whole lot of Great Lakes college baseball coverage, period. So when I go to games, not only with 11.7, but just individually previously, there was just 2 or 3 guys at some of these top games. And that was kind of how I got started. 11.7 noticed me kind of grinding my way through it as a little bit of an independent in the college baseball media space. And then, they just picked me up. And my specialty is gambling on it a little bit, but the more and more I get into it, the more and more, I'm like, maybe I don't want to be associated with it as much, because I do love being around the guys. And today it was like drinking water out of a fire hose. You got 8 teams we're being able to get media access to. It was an outstanding experience being able to talk to all the kids and all the coaches. So outstanding day, a media day, and we've got 10 plus days of great college baseball coming.
No, that's awesome. And I think, for those who don't know, right, the guys who are up here and kind of wherever, the 11.7 does a great job. You guys do a great job of covering all aspects of college baseball, not just, the upper tiers with the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12. Yeah. You do in the ACC. You guys do a great job with the mid majors as well, right? Because I think that's a job. What'd you say?
A fantastic job with the mid majors. They spotlight the heck out of it, really.
And that's what makes it unique, right?
Yeah.
And so kind of talk about, what's your guys' goal with all of it, right? What's the plan, and what's the aspiration for it?
Yeah, I mean, we try to do our best to represent every single conference, we take pride in the little guys. One, I didn't even get to D1 college baseball, but two, the other guys that I'm on the podcast with that were gracious enough to invite me onto their team. Ben Upton, Dimitri Curtis, they're both Mercer grads. They played baseball in the SoCon. And then Jack DeLongshaw was a Charleston Southern grad, and then took his graduate senior year at George Mason. So, I mean, we're all kind of mid-major guys at heart. We're rooting for the little guy, but when there's a lane, sprint through it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of coverage in mid-major baseball, let alone Great Lakes baseball. So that's definitely the mindset to that. When it comes to what we are aiming to do as 11.7, we're just flying by the seat of our pants, honestly, because let's face it, college baseball is kind of overshadowed by college basketball for the first 3 months of our season. Yeah. And then you look at it right now, College World Series is going on. This is our biggest and best stage. NBA Finals and NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now too. So it's like, how do you scale this? Does it work if you put the effort into scaling it? We don't know. That's some things that we're kind of just figuring out. This is my first Omaha trip. I'm only 23 for what it's worth, but Ben's been coming out here for a couple of years. Dimitri's still playing pro ball in Italy. That's another thing that a lot of people don't know. He's our graphic design guy. Like, he's outstanding with social media and graphics. And he's playing ball in Italy right now. He's like 32 and still kicking. So that's been their mindset. They've been doing this for 7 years now. This is my first with them. Is like, man, everybody dreams of playing pro ball. Keep going. And then we kind of have the feeling of, once he hangs up the cleats per se, this thing may get off the ground legitimately. Like, I think that everybody looks and they see that our Twitter following's through the roof. But we're not making too much money. We make enough to literally just do one big trip at the end of the year to go to Omaha. But outside of that, we're just having fun covering the game we love.
And that's what makes it fun, right? Like having guys, like having that group of guys, because it's kind of like a miniature locker room almost, right? You guys come together with the big trip. Because do you guys do a lot of the, when you guys record your podcast, was it mostly over Zoom or, when I'm driving StreamYard, I was on what we're on. So how's that work? So you guys release something every week? How's it work?
Yeah, so we do 2 a week. We do a recap and then a weekend preview. That's the easiest way to do it. If we do scale this, we are, Jack is a broadcaster at heart. Looking to be a play-by-play guy when he gets like a big boy job. And I mean, he's had plenty of opportunities with ESPN doing ACC games, Big South games and whatnot on Flow Sports as well in the college baseball space. Ben has experience doing color. And I'm kind of like a video guy and editor on the video content portion. That's kind of my main role, other than trying to be the ethos of the group and getting things right. Dimitri's had an outstanding year picking games for what it's worth. I would say that, I've gone blank on what I was going to finish that statement with.
You're good, man.
That's I apologize.
So let me ask you this. So let's dive into a little bit of the college baseball. So my background, I played baseball at Northern Kentucky for a couple of years, and I played finished my career up at Oakland.
Okay.
So that was my backstory of playing, and just from what I've seen, and now Ruby and I do some summer ball stuff, some high school summer ball stuff as well. So we're in it, right? We're kind of in the whole recruiting aspect, the college baseball aspect, seeing how it's changed. With the transfer portal and different kids just getting better and better and better over the years, so what are some of the things that you've kind of noticed that you guys have noticed, by covering the game that have really changed, since even you were playing, right? Just a few years ago. What are some of the things that you guys have noticed?
Well, it's the biggest topic in college sports within the last week. Would no longer have 11.7 scholarships.
Right.
You do have the ability to go to 34. However, that is a whole new can of worms that could possibly happen. Because, guys, he was asked today, Dan Skirka, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but they don't even fund 11.7 scholarships. And you're going to be having Arizona State, who's already come out and announced that they will be funding 34 full college baseball scholarships. So there is going to be some kind of strategery through athletic departments, because which sports are you going to fund? There's going to be some, athletic departments that are probably going to have to cut sports to be competitive in others, unfortunately. And that's not the good thing about this whole ordeal, because this has come about because, NIL needed to be policed. You had in the recruiting process, NIL numbers through the roof. We all know it from college football and some of college basketball as well. But it's prevalent in college baseball, but it's really the top 5% that get the massive numbers. But, I mean, you were playing college baseball. I was playing college baseball. We would love a little bit of, comfortable money to go out and have, just good food, not the diner food, right? So,
dude, if they would have covered my Chick-fil-A bill for the week, we would have been perfectly fine.
Yes. Yeah. So that makes a huge difference when it comes to recruiting nowadays. And like I said, there's still a lot of unknowns because that literally just got passed on Friday.
Right.
And we will see. There was a mad scramble of getting all these Wild West NIL deals done by Friday night, because that was when the deadline happened. So you had 400 people commit in a 4-hour span after they news dumped it at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy. And we see it from, the high school standard, because, we've got some really good talent, up here. And, you just hear, a couple guys and they're talking about, possible 6-figure deals and all this stuff. And they're trying to lock this in as quickly as they can. And I think, to your point, with the deadline and all the new information that we're getting, because it was a circus, you had to put bumper lanes at the bowling alley, right?
Yeah, it was needed.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of empty promises. We can go. I mean, I can go on and on about it, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
So let me kind of ask you this. So when it comes to the season, right? Obviously, we have the final 8 with the guys that are in the College World Series. What's been some of the most surprising things you guys have noticed over the last however many months?
Well, surprising to the national college baseball follower, maybe the ones that jump in around this time, is that 13 SEC teams got into the NCAA tournament. Only 2 are left in the College World Series. Only 4 got out of the regional round out of the 13. That's just the competitive nature of baseball. The game of baseball doesn't allow the best team to win on every single given day. You can spend all the NIL money you want. It's not necessarily going to win you the games unless, or else, the Yankees and Dodgers would have 15 of the last 40 college World Series championships. See, I'm just on college brain. I don't even turn on MLB games until mid-July.
You guys have been ripping the Jello shots.
Yeah, I haven't personally gone over there yet, but can't wait to do it. But yeah, that was surprising a little bit. Another prediction that I had right in the preseason was I thought it was a really good year for the West Coast. I said that at least 2 of the former Pac-12 teams would get to Omaha. We've got 3, which I think a lot of people are surprised by that. But it was just a really good year. There was a lot of experience that came back for a lot of those West Coast teams. Unfortunately, they didn't have their conference that they originally had, because the Pac-12 historically does run college baseball. They have the most natties. But the story in Omaha around here is Murray State, the 4 seed that got to Omaha. The Missouri Valley Conference, guys, the last 5 years is 17-9 in regionals. The first round of the NCAA tournament, they are really competitive. And they just kind of get a little bit disrespected by the RPI and other selection committee metrics that they use. to where they only get one or two teams into the field. We get contacted by MVC coaches all the time that, it's a quality league, and it shows in the postseason performance. You look at Dallas Baptist in 2021, Indiana State the last couple of years until Mitch Hannes took the job at South Florida just last season. This was his first year with the Bulls. And then Evansville last year, they win a game in the best of three super regional round against Tennessee, who won the national championship. Right. And then this year, you have Murray State, who statistically had the hardest path to get to Omaha. They go down to the Oxford Regional. They beat Ole Miss twice out of 3 games that they played them against. And they knocked off Georgia Tech, who won 40 games and it was the ACC regular season champs. And then they went to Durham. Jack Coombs Field was absolutely rocking for Brian Sikowski and the Duke boys. That was their first ever time hosting postseason baseball on campus. So, yeah, Murray State's been through the gauntlet, and it's been a very impressive run. But we've kind of seen the success out of this conference. So
you obviously got to talk with Coach Skirka, and we're going to play that here in just a second. But after this rolls, what was, let us know your kind of thoughts as to your conversation with him and anything that stood out aside from what he says here.
Head coach of Murray State, the darling of this year's College World Series, Dan Skirka, Michigan native. Can you describe to us the run that your team's been on, and also you have a Michigander on the squad in Kane Elmy. Can you just preview the College World Series for us a little bit?
Man, we're really excited to be here. This team's fun to watch. If you haven't seen them, they're tough as nails. They play hard. They play the game the right way. They love each other. It's really neat. They've competed against all the big boys and gone toe to toe, and just haven't been fazed by any moment. And it's been a different guy every night. So really cool story. If you're looking for somebody to root for in Omaha, root for the Racers.
I mean, really, a guy you want to root for. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah, we have a really good relationship with Skirk, and honestly, a couple of guys in the MVC. And yeah, this team is super experienced. That lineup is very prolific. Honestly, the leadoff hitter Jonathan Hogart has taken the nation by storm with his postseason experience. But this is a guy that was an all-star at the JUCO level, went to Louisiana State, and got hurt. And he thought his baseball career was over. Skirka recruits him out of the transfer portal. He's a hometown kid to Murray, Kentucky. And all of a sudden, everything's clicking at the right time for him. Louisiana Tech thought he was going to be a stud for them on campus, and then he just decided to return home. And man, he sets the table because there are 6 lefties in this lineup, and it's a very good offense. They've put up 110 runs in the postseason in their 11 games. That's counting the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, the regional and the super regional round, 65 runs in 7 games in the regional and super regional. So this is against good competition. And the lineup has just been raking, and it's not by the home run ball. The way you win in Omaha, not necessarily with the home run, because we got strong wind blowing in here in Omaha with expected weather early next week. So the home run's not going to necessarily win some games down here. You're going to need to pound the gaps with line drives. And Murray State's also gotten a couple of those liners where they've had quite a few doubles. And this team's just got a really good approach, and it stems from Skirk. And this is a guy who played college baseball at Kellogg, attended GVSU as well, from Union City High School as well. It's a really cool story for him because a lot of his coaching buddies. Well, first off, I'll say this because I asked him, me personally from the state of Michigan, it was more Tigers. It was more pro baseball following for me early on, not truly following SEC baseball or ACC baseball just on a national scale, right? So I asked him, how did you even get into this, and what were the the goals, and what made you jump into being a head coach in college baseball? He mentioned how he got his start just as a grad assistant in Michigan one year, in Arkansas next year, and then he spent a couple of years at Murray as an assistant coach, and then a job opened at Murray State a couple of years later, and he took it. And he's a first-time coach. He's doing this kind of on the fly. He's been told by a lot of his college buddies, you got to go to Omaha to check it out and make sure that you're not new to everything when you get there. And he's like, no, I want to earn this thing. So I really liked that. This is his first trip, truthfully, as a college baseball coach and fan. They are the pitching. Kane Elmy is their SP3 from Canton, Ohio as well. Played at Kellogg Community College, where Coach went and played for as well. He's their SP3, but the pitching staff has been a little bit suspect up until this point. They've played a lot of, I would say, lacrosse score games in the NCAA tournament. But Graham Kellum in their bullpen has really stepped up and provided them at least a guy that can shut the door. And that's been huge for this team. You look at Kane Elmy, his numbers aren't going to blow you away. He's honestly like at a 4.5 K per nine, which is kind of crazy for a guy that, set high school strikeout records, but he gets the job done. And pitching to contact here at Charles Schwab Field is going to work. Yep. So, I actually think that Murray State's going to make some noise here. They're going to have the Omaha locals on their side. And like I said, that offense has been rolling the entire year. They were Missouri Valley Conference regular season and tournament champions. This isn't a fluke.
So they're not the only mid-major that is there. We have another state of Michigan connection with the other mid-major, with Coastal Carolina, with Jacob Morrison out from Flushing. What can you tell our listeners that maybe haven't been following Coastal Carolina? I mean, they are coming in having a fantastic season thus far.
Yeah, they're on a 23-game win streak. So that's the largest winning streak ever coming into the College World Series. Morrison won Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year as well. And this is a guy that was coming off of an injury, didn't pitch at all in 2024. Talked about how, rehab was, a mental grind for him. And this year all of it's paid off. He's 11-0 with a 2.15 ERA and 16 starts, 96.1 innings. He's got 95 strikeouts, 22 walks, 195 batting average against. The biggest development, biggest improvement for him since we last saw him as like a midweek starter, the SP4, for those that don't know that terminology, has been the curveball. He stands 6'8". So if you don't know his stature at all, this is a mountain of a man.
A large guy.
Yes, and the fastball's always been good for him, right? But Matt Williams is a brand new pitching coach over there at Coastal Carolina, and for a long time, Coastal has been a very good offense, and they struggle on the bump. This year, they've got possibly the best pitching staff in Omaha. It is very impressive what Matt Williams, first-year pitching coach, has done. He was previously at South Carolina, where they were also really good on the bump under Mark Kingston until Kingston got canned last season. Williams lands with Kevin Schnall, who is in his first season as head coach at Coastal Carolina, filling in for Gary Gilmore. Gilly's out here. That's awesome as well. Good to meet him. And Schnall, for what it's worth, he's got a great story as well. Morrison is going to flash that fastball, but at 6'8", where I was going with this is he's developed that curveball very well over the past year. And when you're pounding the top of the zone with just his stature of the fastball, and then you could drop the curveball off the table, that's very nice. And he's got the whatever it's classified, cutter, slider, whatever that lateral movement pitch is. That's his number 2. But the curveball's like unlocked a new level for this kid. And he's pitching himself into day one status of the MLB draft in mid-July here. So it's going to be fun to watch him. He just consistently throws strikes. And when you do that out here in Omaha and you're just pounding the zone, a lot of times that's going to work. The ball doesn't fly here.
No, you're 100% right, especially when you have a guy when you're 6'8". I remember my freshman year when we played NKU, when I played at NKU, I played University of Kentucky. Go Big Blue Nation, baby.
Awesome. I love Mingione there too. He's one of my favorite head coaches.
Oh, they're the best. backstory. My sister went there for a year just for shits and gigs, and your boy had to go get a bunch of merch.
There you go.
All right, but anyway, no, but I just remember, I remember facing Sean Jelly, right?
Yeah.
The guy so he's in I think he's still with the San Francisco Giants organization, right? And
I think so. It
and
rings a bell.
him being 6'11", dude, and just coming downhill, the ball looks like it's going above you, and then it just ends up right belt high, and you're just like, "Yep, I'm just gonna take that and just gonna walk right back to the dugout."
You can't simulate it. You need a 6'8", 6'11" guy on your team to simulate.
Unless you put the hack attack put it on 16 different chairs and hike that bad boy up there, you have no shot of it. But let me ask you this: so for guys who for the listeners up here that, because right now we're going through our Michigan High School state playoffs, we got the state championships, going on, this weekend, with that going on, what are some of the kind of the bigger names, in Omaha that, you guys have been focused on that are really going to kind of light up the TV screen?
Yeah. So you're just asking national scale.
Just like the bigger, the more the highlight names, right? Obviously you have Curiel and Jones and those guys. Too, but what are some of the other guys?
So Vahiva Aloy is currently up for the Golden Spikes. So that's your Heisman Trophy of college baseball, best player award. He is a Hawaiian, which is a very cool story as well. His brother's on the team. They're going by the moniker Bash Bradas. Two right-handed sticks that can really swing for power. Vahiva is an outstanding defensive shortstop as well. Rock Chalowski is a shortstop for UCLA, who you look on paper, he's got the best numbers in the country. And, he played in the Big Ten on the West Coast, add it all up, and he doesn't get nominated for the Golden Spikes. That was a guy that possibly could have won it, in my opinion. But this guy's also legit. He's probably going to be a top 5 pick in the 2026 MLB draft. The Vahiva Aloy thing with his draft status, I think there's a little bit too much swing and miss, and that's why he's not up there. But in this field in Omaha, like the teams that he's facing outside of LSU, he's going to have his way. On LSU, you mentioned Derek Curiel. This is a stud freshman that's going to be a superstar in a year or two. He had a crazy on-base streak to begin the season. It's something like, he's been on base in 58 of their 60 games. Like, literally hasn't been on base in just 2 of them, which is just absolutely nuts for a freshman to do. On that team, they have a tremendous duo of starting pitchers. Coastal has the best trio of starters. LSU has the best duo, and that's Cade Anderson, who's getting some conversation of being a top 5 pick in this year's MLB draft. He's a lefty that can run it up in the high 90s with a good curveball, good slider. And then Anthony Ianson, who's a right-hander who also can bring the heat with a good curveball. He was a transfer out of UC San Diego, and he's been everything that, we thought he could be at LSU, and really taken off. And he's kind of pitched his way into being a first-rounder as well for LSU. On the left side of the bracket at Oregon State, there's a freshman named Dax Whitney who's probably going to get the ball tomorrow night. So that's going to be your ESPN primetime game. Dax Whitney is a tantalizing prospect. I mean, this is a guy that was if he wasn't drafted, he was going to be like a round 2 arm in the 2024 draft. But I think he was drafted, and he passed up the money to go play for Oregon State. And this is a program that is making their first appearance in the College World Series since they won it all in 2018. Mitch Canham is the head coach. He has the career RBI record in the postseason for Beaver, but Gavin Turley on the team has tied him, and Turley's going to be a first rounder for the Beavers, I do believe. And there's just that team seems so fun to me, at least, because they've battled so much adversity when you're talking about the conference realignment stuff. They're basically your Notre Dame of college baseball, where they're independent, and they played 35 games away from home. And it's unbelievable what they've been able to do, and they set themselves up to play baseball at home at Goss Stadium throughout the postseason, and they've made very good do of that. But they've played the maximum amount of games. So Mitch Canham is joking about how they provided their fans with a lot of home baseball to make up for it in the postseason. But they lost that first game in the regional. They battled their way back, win 4 straight to get to the Super. Then they win in a game 3 against Florida State. That was another lacrosse score. But the first 2 games were very well pitched. Dax Whitney's going to be a stud in a year or 2 as well. He's a stud right now, superstar in a year or 2, I should say. And yeah, I think that covers kind of the big TMZ stars you're going to see at College World Series this year.
Yeah, and there's always going to be a couple guys we've never heard of, right?
Great stories.
Yeah, and that's what makes it, right? And I think so. What are some of the teams that kind of shocked you guys? Who you thought the preseason going in that they were a surefire bet going into Omaha? What are some of the teams that kind of shocked you guys that didn't either necessarily make it out of the regional, super regional, or didn't make the postseason at all?
Yeah, I think you're putting this up on the tee for me to talk about Texas A&M and Virginia.
No, absolutely.
They were preseason number 1 and number 2 overall, and they didn't even make the NCAA tournament this year. It's easy to explain with Texas A&M at least because they had some injuries early on, and it was the first time ever head coach in Michael Early, who was previously an assistant coach under Tracy Smith at Arizona State. Tracy Smith, currently the Michigan head coach for the Wolverines, and Early played ball at Indiana. So he's a Midwest guy from Indiana, I do believe. So I'm rooting for him as well. There were some rumors that he was possibly on the hot seat because they were, the number 1 team in the preseason, and they didn't live up to expectations. For Virginia, I have no idea why that team struggled still. The pitching was not the greatest in the preseason, but the lineup was supposed to be world-beating, and it just started slow. And Brian O'Connor, during the midpoint of the year, said, cold weather is a thing. So shout out cold weather bats, because once it got warmer, that lineup did heat up, but it was a little too late. And it's really interesting, too, because Brian O'Connor is now your new head coach at Mississippi State. And I know there's a big prospect who's a junior at Brother Rice who's committed to Virginia. Can you guys name him for me? Because I'm blanking right now.
You said going to Virginia?
Yeah, he's committed to Virginia.
Cole Duham.
Yeah, Duham.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Big year of recruiting there for O'Connor at Mississippi State, and also our guy Sikowski, who's the assistant coach at Duke. Him and that staff, so the head coach there, Chris Pollard, have taken over at Virginia. So Sikowski, very good recruiter, knows the Michigan roots and recruiting ground pretty well. I would say that there's going to be an interesting battle, I think, for the next couple of months. That's something we should pay attention to.
No, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy because now it's, once you get to the kind of this time, right, that regional, super regional, and the College World Series, recruiting, transfer portal, everything just goes bonkers, right?
Yeah.
I have a cousin that plays baseball at Stanford, and their Friday guy, Matt Scott, just transferred to Georgia.
Yeah.
Right. And just knowing him and get to know him over the last couple of years, it's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, so let me ask you this. So oh my God, I have the question in my head. I forgot.
All right, I'll go. So transfer portal wise, we have touched on it a little bit. Are any of these schools here, because Griff and I both have coached kids that are coming into the portal and are already starting to commit to schools, and you see it every single day. I see Kendall Rogers tweeting, player X committed to Oklahoma and things to that extent.
Yeah.
Are these coaches in some way, do they have parts of their staff still monitoring this, yet still competing while they're out here?
Yes, 1,000%. Speaking of Mingione, just as an example, in his post-game presser, when they were eliminated from the Clemson regional, that's kind of when you're able to talk about the entire year. The coaches kind of open up after the season's over. And he's like, I forget the assistant coaching name, but it's the recruiting coordinator. And he's like, during a rain delay, he was literally just scrolling through, doing his evaluations by paper, by hand, and making sure that he was good to go once we got out of Clemson. Because these guys are traveling mid-tournament. Like, some of the assistant coaches aren't going back to the hometowns to do practice for 2 days. They're going to hit the road to do the transfer portal, especially at the highest of high levels, which I don't know if, a lot of the followers are truly interested in, but there is big game, inner baseball going on in the recruiting trail. But yeah, with the mid-major ranks, you know, a lot of them kind of have to wait because, you know, the big dogs are going to eat first, and you kind of have to. That's when the JUCO guys, the bandits, can get into the D1 ranks, is if a lot of the targets on some of these schools get picked up pretty early, and whatnot. So yeah, the recruiting doesn't ever stop.
Murray State's a great example of that too. I mean, even I know for Coach Skirks, his post game, he's referencing his guys he brought in from the portal buying in. I mean, all the other mid majors, and especially in their conference, are out recruiting. And well, I mean, he has a better excuse why he can't be on the phone right now, but for next year and beyond, he's missing the boat a little, and potentially some of these other guys.
Correct, especially if they're not funding 11.7,
right? Exactly,
they're not going to fund 20 out of the 34, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to play up because you're like, hey, we're Murray State. We recruited well out of the JUCO ranks, and we went to a College World Series, guys, and we play in a good conference. So that's the pitch now.
Sorry about that, boys.
Dogs. No, you're good. I got a dog at home as well.
Yeah, he's just going nuts right now.
I have a well-behaved dog, so we're good.
Yeah, well, this guy just went to the vet today. So, which, by the way, cost me $600.
Yeah, it's through the roof.
Yeah, I just went up there. It was like, here's the credit card. We're just gonna call it a day. But no, so kind of going back to the Omaha portion. So what's coming? What are some of the cool things that, you know, because that's why it's on my bucket list, you know, for trips. So what are some cool things that, obviously you have the games and the life, but kind of explain what just the whole atmosphere is like down there.
Well, I really got to experience it because I got in yesterday morning. I did a little nightlife, but I took a nap during the day because I was just exhausted after the flight, and I'm not a morning guy. So I honestly didn't get a whole lot of sleep previous to making the flight. But there's a whole Omaha Village. What I would say is, like, if anybody knows of the Ann Arbor Art Fair possibly, or any of those type of deals where there's
that's a hell of a pull.
Yeah. Where there's just
play into the audience.
Yeah, there's like a ton of, you know, just I would say tents, like people like selling stuff out of a stand. You got Rawlings. Ben Upton's brother works for Rawlings, so I'm staying with him for the first 2 days until I get my hotel room. But yeah, Rawlings is out there. Like, you got baseball is like that. Omaha Village is outstanding. I love Chinook Seeds, so they have you know, a tent out there as well. You know, the Omaha Village is legit. I can't wait to go through there and spend $300. The Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge, you guys are very well aware of. That's for 21 and up people. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to go out there and see that and take that one in. But also, I have actually been taken aback and swept off my feet with the amount of youth baseball players that are out here right now, because they do tournaments during the College World Series. Which you did?
So I played in that back when I was 13, when it was still Rosenblatt, which I guess now just aged myself a little bit. But I'm old. The softball, slow pitch softball tonight, the legs are shot right now. I'm in misery right now.
We're not going to go there.
No, we're not. You can tell your story if you want. So do you know how far the Rosenblatt Field is from where Schwab is now? Charles Schwab Field is now?
I believe it's like a 2 to 5 mile drive, 10-minute walk, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when we went, obviously they just had the bleachers in the outfield, you know, where if you were going to the tournament, it came with a ticket for that. And I remember we stayed in the same hotel the year the Tigers drafted Andrew Miller. And he's coming down with his North Carolina get up with a Tigers hat on, and I'm like, that's Andrew Miller. I got a picture. It was really sweet. But I remember going to, like, you know, the village around it and seeing like all the Rawlings and the Nike truck and just seeing all that. Like, I can only imagine how big it is now. This was back, I think, in like 2005. So it was a cool thing back then for any kid. I can only imagine how it is now. It'd be really cool to go as like an adult for all this stuff. But yeah, no, it was really cool back then. The game days were insane. The whole town comes out. I mean, it's like a Michigan game day. Like they all come out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to experience Rosenblatt, but I will say this stadium is tucked right into downtown. It's really incredible that they were able to build this in the middle of the couple of streets that they're on, because the bars are like 2 streets over. We were enjoying a couple of beverages with a couple of Arkansas staff members last night. But like that's the fun of it, because these guys are celebrities on campus for the entire time, and then when they get out here to Omaha, the first 2 days they're totally laxed, laid back, like just enjoying the experience. Then Friday, it clicks back on in the competitive mode, because once they lose, they take off like the very next morning. So they're going to be out here enjoying the first couple of days, and we've been able to take advantage of that. But yeah, it seems very fun. I haven't truthfully experienced the fun yet, but I can't wait to.
How long are you guys staying down there?
So my motto was, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I'm doing like the entire 2 weeks. I'm going till the 24th is when I fly back home.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, because I remember, and what's crazy, and just like I'm thinking about it now, is like all the coaches that are there now, and they're having it's the moment, if whoever gets knocked out, they got to fly down the East Cobb and just start recruiting down there.
Or the Cape Cod.
Yeah, or heading out there and start grabbing kids from the portal. So let me ask you this. So if you had to pick a winner right now, what's and hey, listen, I saw the tweet earlier, right? You picking, Arizona.
Yeah.
For some good money. But who are some of your favorites out here?
Yeah, so Arizona was my preseason pick, which also Chip Hale, former hitting coach, assistant with the Tigers. Until AJ Hinch took over, he was able to grab the Arizona job, ironically, like pretty like the year before, I think. And he told me that Hinch called him yesterday, which I was not expecting to hear that, one. But two, was very, very cool when I told him that I was a Tigers fan and from Michigan. That Arizona team has got loads of talent. They returned a whole lot of production from that lineup. Their pitching staff hasn't been, I guess, as dominating in the postseason, but it's been able to get the job done because, look, the secret's out, especially being here now in person and being able to, look at and feel the baseballs. They're different baseballs in the postseason. They're tighter wound, like lower seams, which allows it to fly a little bit further. And Arizona came into the tournament 53rd out of 64 teams in homers, and they blasted 14 in the first weekend in 3 games. So that identity of the entire team just shifted. But this place plays like a graveyard. And Mason White, who's the star shortstop, Tucson native, so he's got a cool hometown story. He was like, yeah, Chip's been telling us the entire week, line drives are going to win. We have to hit the line drives because the ball's not going to fly here. So that was cool to hear and see. If you're looking for the value pick, it has to be on the left side, because on the right side, that first matchup between LSU Arkansas, everybody's saying it. I don't think you're going to get a different answer out of me. The winner of that first game is probably in the best position to win the entire thing. They got the rowdy fan base already out here, so that will help them. But also, they put themselves in a position to really control their own destiny, as they'll get the winner of UCLA Murray State, who personally I would have power ranked as 5 and 6 in the field, 6 and 7. Which would be a favorable draw in a 1-0 game, which is typically the most important game in the College World Series out here. So my pick's going to be LSU. I just think that it's so tough between those two teams, who I think is going to win that first game. But I think Anthony Ianson starts, and he's going to do pretty well. Arkansas hits left-handers really well, so is Cade Anderson going. I think Arkansas could be able to win, but I'm sticking with LSU mainly because those top 2 arms are incredible. And with the built-in rest of the new College World Series format, you can throw one guy, get a day of rest, throw the second guy, get a day of rest. Then if you're in the winner's bracket, you're waiting 2 days before you play your next game. And if you really wanted to, you could trot them out in that winners bracket game where you're 2-0 and the other team is coming in at 2-1. But the normal approach is to throw your game 3 guy and see if you can get to the College World Series game 1 with your entire rotation, ready to go and on full rest. But if that doesn't happen, then you just trot out your ace, and the other team, after playing 4 games, typically the pitching staff's just completely tarnished. And that typically helps the team in the winners bracket. So you want to be on the winner of Arkansas LSU. It's just good luck picking the winner. I'm going to go with the Tigers, but it's tight.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, here's our last question. My personal favorite. Who wins the Jello shot contest?
Oh, that one's actually not even close. It's going to be LSU because that
those fans take it personally.
Yeah, they do. And also they had help from Todd Graves, who's the Raising Cane's CEO in 2023.
Yeah, he'll just write a fat check here.
1,000%. Arkansas has got those guys too. They got the Walmart owner, the Tyson Chicken Company owner or whatever. So if those guys show up and show out, they could definitely give LSU a run for the money. And again, that would be whichever team of those two is left standing has the big bucks to be able to raise that number throughout the weekend. But that one's LSU. Like I said, the Omaha businesses out here, they celebrate when LSU gets to the College World Series because it means good business. They travel in boatloads, and they are well known as being, like, out of any team, even Texas, who's got the most CWS appearances out of any team, LSU's got the best fan base that shows up the most. So
hey, well, listen, Noah, we appreciate you, my man. Honestly, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you sharing the knowledge, even though you didn't buy into the whole bald banter thing. I get it. I completely understand. Hold on while you can. But we appreciate you stopping by, man. Best of luck. Good luck the rest of the week. Enjoy it, man. It's going to be probably the best 2 weeks of your life.
Yeah, Griffin and Ruby, I appreciate you guys having me on the platform. You hit me up out of the blue on one of the days. I was like, I was not expecting this. But I truly take pride in trying to cover the Great Lakes and specifically the Michigan guys at our level. This year was really good for Michigan talent because not only do you have Jacob Morrison in the College World Series, but Ike Irish is going to be a first-round pick. Yep. And then Nolan Schubert, who was his high school teammate, probably a day 1 pick. He might not be a first rounder, but those two have been incredible to follow the entire season long. But yeah, the listeners out there, if they're interested in college baseball coverage, they can follow me at NoahB77 _ on a lot of social media platforms. I'm not active on all of them. I'm most active on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. But that's where they can find me.
Awesome. No, man, we appreciate it. Like we said. I mean, what a great conversation. What a great conversation that we had. And I think I completely didn't realize that Noah was a Michigan guy. I know he mentioned that, but he's from right down the street.
Right down the road.
He's a Utica Ford guy. He's a Noah Bright guy. He's an Aaron Cleary guy. Right? And I think, but what's great about having Noah on and what's great about having guys who really are diehards in the college baseball landscape is you get a lot of different perspectives. Not only guys who play college ball, but guys who, are living and dying this stuff. I think that's even more exciting than, what we can even cover because they just add a great perspective. And I think that conversation that we just had, I mean, this guy knows his stuff.
He does.
And part of the conversation where you and I would just flip a question up there and this guy would just go with it. And Noah did a phenomenal job answering everything that we threw at him, even the Jello shot conversation, which, remember, 21 up, drink responsibly, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But I mean, I couldn't be more excited for tomorrow.
It's going to be great. Looking forward to seeing all of the teams that are out there. Obviously interested, everyone wants to see Murray State. I hope they do well. They got a good battle off the bat. I know game 1 is Coastal Carolina that we talked about. We'll see if maybe Morrison's on the bump. I think he's been typically their number 2 starter. So we'll see how some of these coaches look to approach these games. I'm excited to see how some of these coaches, from being a coach are treating these games? Do they play to win that first one? Are they trying to build for the long haul? I mean, personally, you got to win the first one to set yourself up. So you assume you're throwing everything in the kitchen sink right off the bat.
Yeah, it's something that we've talked about endlessly, throughout the Michigan State playoffs, right? It's like you got to win what's right in front of you, right?
Yep.
And I think that's the cool thing about this tournament, this experience, right? And I'm jealous, a little envious, and Noah and the boys from 11.7 that they're down there. But I think it's gonna be a great World Series. I can't wait to watch. I'm super excited. We need an excited counter right down there.
We do.
Yeah,
We'll get a tally marker. How many games in 76 days is it again?
Don't forget the Northwoods League, baby. 72 games in 76 days. Okay.
No, I mean, I just remember when I was 13 years old, how cool it was. Like, I can't even imagine, at the ages of being an adult, how much different it's going to look through, our eyes now. I mean, you're going to the D1, D2 state title games that are tomorrow. First off, enjoy that, and good luck to all of the teams competing today and the remaining semifinals, and tomorrow in the state championships. But maybe next year we look at cold weather bats going out to the College World Series and maybe covering some Michigan guys. I mean,
could you imagine? I mean, listen, we got to get the road show going with the cold weather bats up in Michigan first. I need to be boots on the ground to some of these games. I'll be the guy in the middle of the student section, middle of the fans, right? Chopping it up with grandma, talking about her cookie recipe. I'm all in, right? But I think that'd be an awesome experience. We got to talk to the suits and the people in charge, behind the scenes to see if we can make that possible. We know the pocketbooks are deep for this show, right? We all know who's working it behind the scenes, and the pocketbooks are deep, all right? But couldn't be more excited for this opportunity, for not only all the guys who are playing, all the fans there, all the coaches there, and all the families that are there, but just the young guys who are just starting to get into the game, right? And this is as big of an atmosphere, as big of a landscape as it gets in college baseball. And if you're a high school guy or you're a younger kid trying to have dreams of playing at the next level, I would soak all this in and truly watch every single second, and try to watch it as much as you can, because I know school's out, so we got the time. Mom's not yelling at you to go to bed, right? But watch every single second of the game, because truly it can be breathtaking at some of these moments.
It's a great idea. I mean, biggest thing that we always preached as coaches is to watch those who play your position and take something from it. I mean, if there's nothing more better to watch this week and the next couple of weeks than college baseball. It's going to be on every single day, I believe. So I haven't looked at their, schedule to a T, but watch those players that are playing your position. If you're a shortstop, watch the shortstop for UCLA. He's really good, and take something from how he handles himself on the field, whether he's running down the line, whatever it might be, and apply that to your game, and continue to have fun. And maybe you guys that are listening will be playing in Omaha here shortly, whether it's for a youth tournament or the College World Series.
Absolutely. And just for the people at home, in case they're wondering, the hamstring feels better today. All right, the hamstring feels better. We're moving around. We're able to do some laundry. Wife's not yelling at me. We were able to cut the grass yesterday. So hamstring is good to go. All right.
7-day IL. We're on the road to recovery. We're ready
I don't know. Listen, I don't know if I'll be able to catch
rehab assignment.
Hey, I don't know if we might have to hop in the 12U tournament and do some rehab.
We'll bring out the slow pitch first.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that, but that would absolutely mess with my swing. But anyway, thank you. I didn't even know we were going to do this. People, like, comment, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, right? If you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or anywhere you get your media, from X, from Instagram, for anything, hit the follow button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a comment. All right, we will do a better job of reading the comments. We have to do better. We're always learning and trying to adapt as a program, right? That's all about Bald Banter. We talk about that in the first 2 episodes that got released probably 6 months ago, it feels like, right? But hey, listen, we're back, baby, and we're back better than ever. All right, we'll have Jelly on at some point. He just had a kid. Congrats, Jelly. Congratulations, Jelly.
Congratulations, Coach.
Father of 2 now, right? But now,
welcome to the Father of Two Club, and a happy
It's-
early Father's Day to us both.
yeah, happy Father's Day to you too. I don't know what that's like yet. Hopefully, right?
It's
Hopefully, no time soon. All right, that's not in the cards yet.
Maybe
But
get married first.
yeah, that's the goal, right? Maybe we have some cold weather bats guys come to the wedding. Maybe, who knows? I'm excited. You never know. But no, at the end of the day, we're super excited for the stuff that we got going the rest of the summer. We're going to try to do this every single week. That's our goal. And I think, we're going to have a lot of cool perspectives with college coaches, college players, kind of talk about summer ball. Now, if you want to know about college summer ball, head over to our other episode channel, however we want to put it.
Our other episode where we have a partnership this entire summer with the Royal Oak Leprechauns. We did our first episode this past Monday, which was a season preview. We had Chris Foss, the field manager, I think is what they call it for the team, as well as Ryan Taransky.
Yeah, I don't think they call it.
I don't know what they call it. They call it something different, but he's their coach. He runs the show. Then we had Ryan Taransky on to talk about it. He was off to a very hot start. Continuing that hot start, we'll have another episode out here in the next couple of days, ideally coming out on Monday. So stay tuned for that. More Bald Banter coming, more Spit and Seeds coming, more cold weather bats coming. We will talk the state championships later this next week. Good luck to those teams. And Griff, you want to close us out here?
Hey, you're going to see your boy on Saturday. So come say hi to your boy. If you want to chirp us for the rankings, that's fine. I'm adding I want all the feedback. I want all the feedback.
Give them the smoke.
Everything possible. Right. But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. Thank you for Ruby for hopping on. Jelly, congrats again on the kid. Congratulations. All
Noah,
right.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Noah. Hey, Noah, great job coming on. If you guys haven't subscribed or haven't logged in or followed or whoever to the 11.7 podcast, those boys do a great job. And I think that's it.
All right. We will see you next time.
Let's do it.